Roll news alert. Mike the Anchor's cue and dissolve.
At protesters in downtown
Stand by
Louisville.
2 box. Stand by
Day
ME2A.
of demonstrations against police. The tensions
ME2A.
even higher now after a black man died in a shooting involving police early this morning.
Dissolve.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
Stand by live view 5.
Hugh Gilbert.
And I'm Gilbert
Take.
Corsi, coming to you live from 26th and Broadway outside Dino's.
At E1.
Hey, you're
Here
clear
in
on your
West
first
Louisville,
shot.
the
You are
site
clear,
of a
Jeff.
police
Thank you.
shooting. Another police shooting in the city of Louisville that has ended with an African
Stand by
American
ME3B.
man. I wanna
Who's
give you a
rolling
look
tapes
at
for
the
me?
scene out here. You
Greg.
see the sidewalks and the streets swelled with people. What has been
Stand by
at times today,
ME2.
tense
Stand by live view
Live view
1.
four is
Live
the
view 4.
always
Live view
peaceful.
4.
As we
Sorry.
come on the air, I
Under.
need to let our viewers know that
Stand
we
by
are
to number 1.
expecting word
Number
from
1.
Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher about this incident at any moment now. But I want to bring in first Katrina Helmer, who has been at the scene all day.
Yes.
You have seen the
Stand
crowd
by
swell. You've seen
ME2B,
the emotions pour into the
under,
street. This
dissolve.
is the 5th day. This death comes after 4 days of protests at times that turned into riots.
Stand by live view
high
5
racial
full.
tension and anger toward police in this community. What have you learned about this case today?
Dissolve.
Still talking about the facts
Stand
of
by
the case so far as
ME3B.
we know them, and what LMPD has told us so far.
Stand by to roll B.
Was that last night, this morning, right around midnight, police
Put A in there. Put A in there.
called
Yeah.
out
And
to
roll A,
DOJ
dissolve.
because of a crowd that needed to be dispersed. Now, LMPD says while officers
Stand
were
by to
here,
bring in
shots
B.
were fired at
You have
officers
ME3A in there?
and officers
Alright,
and National Guard
so
members fired
preview B
back.
on ME3.
In that process, who we know now is Dave McAtee.
Roll
was
B,
a-
dissolve.
He is
Perfect.
a beloved man here. Every single person that I spoke
This is
with
it. This is
in
the
this
only thing
crowd
on the
all
video,
day,
guys. We don't
people were
have any other
crying,
pictures.
people were weeping because he is such a beloved figure of this community. And so far, those are the facts per LMPD of this case. One point of tension today was that LMPD arrived and was
Do we have any of this?
here on the scene, and we saw a big line of police.
Do we have any of this
officers
video?
I'm looking
familiar
like
with in the last
Of what
few
she's talking
days,
about?
dressed in riot gear.
Let me see. It might be in.
Stand by live view 5 full. Dissolve.
Batons ready, and that created some tension among the people who are here.
Stand by
who are
ME2B.
grieving, who are mourning for someone who is so
Dissolve.
beloved in their community. And everyone I spoke to, what they were saying is, we just don't want the police here. It's not needed right now. These are our streets. This is our time. And as soon as police left,
I wrote down everything, by the
there
way.
were rounds of
You could
applause.
just-
There was a round of cheers.
Oh.
And that, I think, for them, what they're telling us is that proved the point.
Scroll down.
This was about a peaceful moment in order to say we need a moment for a beloved member of our community.
And we talked about why he was so well known in this community. I had people talking to me just moments ago before we came on the air. McAtee was known as a business owner. He was a food vendor. He had a barbecue shop or stand that was right here at this corner, and he would feed people.
Give me
no matter
2A,
what.
give me $3.
Somebody just told me moments ago.
Pause B.
If you had $5 in your pocket, and it
Put
was
live
a
view 4 on the
$10
bottom.
order that you had,
Or
and you
live view
only
4
had
big.
$5 in your pocket, he would give you
B
a fee.
small.
He would feed the hungry. That's why this community cared
Stand by
about
live
him
view
so
4
much.
full.
I
No.
understand
Give me
that
two.
Police Chief
Give me
Steve
all
Conrad
3.
was out here last night as well.
Yes.
Put
Steve Conrad was
live
out
view
here
5
last
top.
night, and the mayor actually
B on the
came
bottom.
today. He came
Stand by live view
today
4
and
big.
met with the family. It was
Full.
a very emotional moment
Dissolve.
to see Mayor Fisher hugging
Stand by
on
ME2A.
the family members.
Oh, this
You
is
will
an
notice we
emotional
will
moment.
acknowledge the sound behind
What
us.
is?
You're seeing as cars,
Never
more
mind.
and more
They're
cars
past
come
it.
by.
They're past it. Don't
You're
worry
hearing the
about it.
honks
Stand by
of
ME2B.
support in solidarity with the demonstrators and the protesters that are out here today. Now, Katrina, as we report on this story, one important note that the viewers and everybody
Dissolve.
in the public has, we know that Mr. McAtee is the one who has passed away. Police are saying that there was a shot fired at officers when they
Stand by
arrived.
ME2A.
Is the person who is
Stand by live view 5
Mr.
full.
McAtee, the person who fired that shot?
Dissolve.
That's still unclear.
Stand by
LMPD
ME2A.
has said
Hold
absolutely
on, so
nothing.
we're on the air.
1 minute.
We're on the
And
air.
that's,
Okay, we're pulling it
that's
up.
what we're saying. LMPD has said nothing about who fired the shot.
Dissolve.
That's part of the investigation.
Keep
and
B
that's
paused.
Part of why
Yeah,
it
you
took
can
so
just type it
long
in there.
today for LMPD
Put ME3A
to clear the
in the
scene,
small.
Because KSP is now also investigating.
right.
And so it's taking
Where we have B
double the
already.
amount of time in order to do this investigation and to do it properly.
Alright, stand by to roll
So at
A.
this point, no one has said who fired any shots.
Emotions.
Semi-live view 5.
Emotions are high right now. You can hear it all around us. People are saying he did
Dissolve.
not fire that shot. And that's why it's an important question to pose.
ME2A, ME2B.
Or if he should be, if he was just a bystander in all of this.
Exactly, and that's still part of the investigation.
Gotcha, I understand. Katrina Helmer, thank you so much for your reporting right now. Governor Steve Beshear also talking about this today. And Stefan Johnson was in Frankfurt today with Governor Beshear, who told us that body camera footage will be released today. That is LMPD's policy to release body camera footage within 24 hours of a fatal police encounter. And so, at some point in time this afternoon, I talked to LMPD spokespersons around 2 o'clock today, trying to pinpoint a time if there would be that body camera would be released. They said that
Give me Bashir saw it on X. Bashir saw it on X.
We do expect that body camera footage to be released at some point in time this afternoon.
Greg.
Stefan Johnson, you were with the governor.
Bashir saw it on X.
Today. He talked not only about this case, but the demonstrations and protests.
So roll X and eject it?
That has taken place over the last 4 days.
Just overall, and if it sounds a little chaotic out here, it's because it is. There's somebody here who says this is his property. He's very upset. And
Fisher's talking.
I know.
All right, to my ME2A. We can't hear it in here.
today, Governor Beshear had a lot to say. He
Hold
talked
on
about
one second.
Dissolve.
Hold on 1 second.
Dissolve.
Stefan, we will come right back.
Stand by
to you.
social
I told
news
the Chair,
desk.
Greg Fisher, we were waiting on a press conference from him. It has started right now. Let's go live.
Dissolve.
I've got it.
Social news
It's
desk
already
full.
in there. It's already in there.
Generations of mistreatment, inequity, structural racism
Good
is
job,
led
guys.
to
You
this
just
point,
popped up. Thank you.
exacerbated by
Oh, Jesus.
an unequal balance of power between African American
Yes,
communities.
ME3B, social news desk small.
All of that has to change. We have to create a better America going forward together. It has to be more than lip service. It has to be
Well, I wiped
real
out
Live
action
view,
with real
1.
results. So everybody, please reach out to each other in love and compassion. That's what we need now more than ever to get through a moment like this. And that also has got to be more than words. We may not understand each other. We certainly want
On
not walk in
ME1B,
each other's shoes.
put
We
Live
have
View
to
1
share
top
a common
left.
heart as we get through this challenge as a city.
Live view 5 top
and as a
right.
country.
No,
Some
no,
city will
he knows
rise
not
above the challenge and lead the way.
Live
I know
view
that can be
4
our
bottom
city.
left.
And I know
Or
it's
bottom
gonna be
right.
tough,
Live view
but I
4
know
bottom
that we
right.
can do it.
I don't know what
A
we'll
few
put the big
specific
stuff
announcements.
in the other one. But we'll leave it
That's
there
not
for
We're
the
now.
extending the curfew through June 8th, Monday morning.
June 8th,
Purpose of that
curfew.
curfew is just to keep peace in the city, safety
To
for
my
people,
ME3B.
so people can be at home, off the streets, and for the people that are out, we ask, when you're finished with peaceful protesting before the curfew, please go home.
Hey, are you guys
That's a
still okay with
major
that?
contribution to making your city safe and making sure that the elements that do not want to do well for our city can be dealt with in a more significant way. All the people that were out after the curfew are not those folks, okay? But you can help us by going home when the curfew is there. That's one way you can say you're a proud Louisvillian. Secondly, we need the resources that KSB and the National Guard are providing. The Guard is in a support service. I understand that there's
Frank, are you
sensitivities
guys
to
okay?
the geography, specifically West Louisville, that these
Okay, just making
forces
sure.
are present
Somebody
in.
yelling.
There's discussion underway about all of that right now, so more to come on that
Okay, just
later.
checking.
Where are we going to next?
Next, we had a horrible tragedy last night.
What's out of this,
26
Brandy?
in
I'm
Broadway.
thinking, hold on, I'm sorry.
We lost a wonderful citizen.
I think we need to go
named
back to
David
Gil, and then we need to
McAtee.
get out to Kristen. This
David
is
was
getting
a-
really heated.
A friend to many, well-known, barbecue man
I'm asking.
that nurtured so
Hey,
many
Gil, you
people
can hear Fisher,
in
correct?
their bellies and in their hearts before.
Okay, just making sure.
For him to be
After
caught
this,
up in
we'll come
this and
back
for
out
him not
to
to be
you.
with us today is a tragedy that is just hard to put into words. His mom, I talked to on the phone today.
Okay, I think,
I went down to 26th and Broadway
Send by Live View 4, or send by
and hugged with her,
ME3B
and
with Live
prayed
View
with
4.
her and her
Live
family.
View 4 would be your 6th and Broadway.
And all I could do is express the deepness of
Do you wanna see
sorrow
it?
that I have
Yeah,
and my
I
commitment
wish we had when the mayor
to
was down there, but I don't have
get
that
to the
video.
truth again and make sure whatever next steps that are taken, they are the right steps for her and her family. So our heart and prayers go out to David and his family during this very, very difficult time, and again, I'm extraordinarily sorry.
Oh, that's the email.
There's investigations underway.
Stand by live view
Now, the
4 full.
details of that
When I go to live view
investigation
4
will be
full,
shared here.
minimize and exit out of your
As
emails.
I learned about some
Dissolve.
of the details of what happened last night,
Sorry,
I learned that the
Other
body
mouse, other mouse.
cameras of the officers present
Here now.
were not activated. This type of institutional failure will not be tolerated.
Stand by ME3B.
Accordingly,
cams were
I
not
have relieved
activated.
Steve
Dissolve.
Conrad of his duties as Chief of Louisville Metro Police Department. Deputy Chief Rob Schroeder is now the active chief and the Chief of Louisville Metro Police Department. and
Stand
will
by live
provide more
social news
details
desk.
on this case. Chief Schroeder.
Yeah, we're double checking.
Dissolve.
Body
Good
cameras
afternoon.
not
Thank you
activated.
for joining
LMPD
us
is
on this
talking
call.
now.
First, I'd like to say that
I don't
LMPD
have
is
this guy's
deeply
name.
saddened by the death
Chief
of Mr.
Deputy,
McAtee.
is it?
Over the years, he's been a good friend to the police officers of LMPD, frequently making sure our officers had a good meal on their shift and becoming a good friend to many of those same officers. At this point in the investigation into last night's events,
Yes.
we do not
You
know
just relieved the chief of his duties.
Can you turn control room audio up a little bit, please?
related to a separate incident. It was due to the shots fired by our officers and the National Guardsmen and soldiers that accompanied them. We are working diligently to determine what happened. The community has a lot
Jordan
of
Martin just
questions,
said
and we share those same
Body
questions.
cams were not on and you just fired
Second,
Conrad.
I want to quickly address the fact that there was no body camera footage of this incident. The two officers that fired the weapons violated our policy by either not wearing nor not activating their cameras. That is completely unacceptable, and there is no excuse for their clear failure to violate our policy. We will review the entire incident to determine if there are any other policy violations that occurred. But I assure you, we will follow up and there will be discipline for failing to utilize our cameras. Though we don't have body camera footage that captures the shooting, from the vantage point of the officers, we do have video from our real-time crime center cameras that shows how the incident unfolded. It is taken from a distance, but it gives an overview of the scene and clearly shows the officers reacting to gunfire. We are releasing that now. Additionally, we are going to take a step we do not normally do in our investigations. Normally, we only release the body camera video. In this instance, we're going to release the radio transmission of the scene to give the public a better view of what transpired during the incident. While video would certainly be better, I believe this audio provides a valuable context of what happened.
He does have it all.
We
He does
clearly
have it
hear
all.
the community this week. We know that there are many trust issues we
Hey,
need to address.
Stefan, you can
We
hear
have
this.
tried to
this
further our
presser, correct?
transparency
You can hear this?
of our department over the last few years. And I hope you will see we are continuing
Okay,
to work
okay.
to meet your
We
expectations.
want, when we come out of this.
ME3A.
we'll
Our
start graphing,
investigation.
we're gonna
Put
bring
social
you
news
in
desk on the bottom.
In this
Or
case-
ME2A, I'm sorry.
Kentucky State Police will also be doing an
There was a guy with a gun on-
investigation alongside.
Live view
This
4.
will help to
You
ensure
got it right.
we
You
are
got it right
getting a
now.
thorough and complete investigation that this
Stand by
community
ME3B. Put
trusts.
live view 4 big.
The National Guard will also be conducting its own review of the incident as it relates to its members.
Guys, we do
And what
have scene
transpired
footage,
during this
but it's,
Brendan, I'm about to put a super.
Now to give you what information I can about this morning's incident. After several hours of dispersing crowds and addressing vandalism and looting throughout the downtown area,
It doesn't matter how graphic.
protest response units made up of LMPD officers and National Guard soldiers were directed by incident commanders to go to 26th and Broadway to disperse a large crowd gathering at Dino's Food Mart.
graphic.
Dino's is a location known for large gatherings and has been the location of several violent and criminal incidents.
Yeah, that way you don't even have to.
Commanders wanted to try to clear the location to comply with the
You
curfew
may wanna take the banner
order
down.
in effect and get more people off the street to help avoid additional looting and other crimes. At about 12:15 a.m.,
Hey, Gilbert.
several dozen LMPD officers and National Guard soldiers arrived on the scene.
You know, as a package tonight.
They exited their vehicles to begin walking through and
Hey,
clearing the
Gilbert.
ground.
instead of all these.
At some point, shots were
Out
fired.
of this, we're
Two
gonna let
LMPD officers
you
and two
wrap
National Guard soldiers
this
returned
press
fire.
conference with
The two
Stefan.
LMPD officers, Katie Cruz and Austin Allen, are both members of LMPD's 2nd Division.
Because this is a story.
Cruz joined the department in February of 2018.
So I plan out of this
Allen
presser to
joined in
wrap
February
with you,
of last year.
Stefan,
Both have been placed on
Rose,
administrative
here
leave
by
pending this investigation.
That's supposed to be.
when we're done
Our
wrapping
public
about the
integrity
press
unit
conference.
just recently cleared the scene and is continuing to gather evidence. Kentucky State Police investigators have already
So I
joined
don't
the
care
process.
how we do it, but I feel like somebody has to.
I'll get on it.
We will now play video and audio.
Somebody add E2. Add.
Oh, there's a warning too.
I'm gonna take the live off.
Okay, it was a sig.
Oh, yeah. Just lose E1 for a moment.
There you go.
Guys, we're seeing the
Let's
video
just
right
lose
now.
no E1 right now.
Yeah, it's vantage point is high. It's a crime center camera. We're just kind of seeing traffic.
So you can say something here, or.
Yeah, do we
Can you
want
guys
them
hear
to?
anything?
No, it's like a traffic camera pretty much.
Right, social or put social news desk in the side monitor.
Anchors, just real quickly say, hey, we just want to update you, this is video from LMPD Crime Center camera. We're letting you watch.
Can we pot up Elizabeth?
All right, have bring up the anchors.
Okay.
Cue the anchors.
Cue Elizabeth.
You're watching video from the Louisville Police Real Crime Centers from the scene at 26th and Broadway as it unfolded last
just having
night.
Elizabeth
This
talk
will
over the
be,
video
we're
so we
expecting
know what we're
graphic
looking
video.
at.
You see the warning on your screen.
will still go
Normally
back out to
we
you
would
guys
edit
after this.
the most graphic scenes out. So if you have children in the room, we recommend that they leave the room. As we are watching this graphic video live with you because of the circumstances going on right now. Let's take a look and watch this video as it unfolded at about 12:15 at 26th and Broadway early this morning when David McAtee was shot and killed.
Is your mic down?
Bring her mic down.
Thank you, Elizabeth, nicely done. You may have to, I think it's important just to kind of let this play. You may have to have you guys come in and talk.
So instead of
No, there's no audio on this video because it's from a crime center camera. So it's just like a traffic cam virtually.
There it is, there it is.
Oh, hold on.
all those fucking cars, man.
It's all happening behind the SUV, which maybe is a good thing.
Lawrence and Doug don't have a store, so this
Okay,
is
bring them back, yep, absolutely.
Do we bring him back now or see if Bashir's gonna respond? This is not gonna. This can't take
Yeah.
that much time to put together.
Do we want Anchors to say
Yeah.
something?
Get ready to bring up their mics.
You ready to bring up anchors?
Talk over this again, just bring you up to date here. This is video from crime centers, no body camera footage, chief fired, officers, were they fired as well?
No.
Reprimanded? So, yeah,
They violated
okay. Go
department
ahead, talk
policy.
over it.
Hold on. Nope. Wait.
Hang on.
Stop.
Elizabeth, hang on.
Bring up their mics.
Okay,
Cue.
tell me when you're ready.
We have learned a lot in just this
Sorry,
last
Kyle.
17 minutes. Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher letting us know that there is no body camera footage from the police officers who were at the scene at 26th and Broadway where David McAtee was shot and killed. 2 LMPD officers
Guys, we're
and
still
2
seeing the video.
National
We're
Guard
still in the
soldiers
video, so
returned
we're not ready to
fire
come
after
right back
they
out
were
yet.
fired upon,
I will keep
according
you
to
guys,
the interim
in the-
Deputy Chief Robert Schroeder, who has just been named the acting chief now that Steve Conrad has been fired. So we do not have body cam video from the officers involved. who, by the way, are both on administrative leave pending the investigation, Officers Cruz and Allen. But we do have this Real Crime Center video that shows how things unfolded, and that's what we've been watching. It's a pretty wide shot at that food mart at 26th and Broadway, so it's hard to tell exactly what happened, and they are going to take an unprecedented step and release the radio transmissions of what happened early this morning that left David McAtee.
It's better just to give us a
These are
sub layer
real-time
live.
crime cameras that they have in various neighborhoods. So the video is not great, but you know they can enhance it. They can do freeze frames off of it. They can look for license plate and try to hone in on who may have been responsible. At this point, we do know that David McAtee, known as the barbecue man there, was shot and killed as this gunfire erupted. The governor said earlier today, he goes, I want the video out. This is the best video we have. But he said what's been conveyed to me is that shots were fired and that they returned fire. And he said they did not spray gunfire back or they would have hit many people. Unfortunately, David McAtee lost his life as they did return fire. And as you said, Elizabeth, 2 officers were not either wearing their cameras or did not turn them on. He wouldn't say specifically which it was, but that investigation will go on. That discipline will obviously take place very soon, because especially after what happened with Breonna Taylor, there was an absolute emphasis on having these cameras, even the undercover, the no-knock warrant teams. Everybody was supposed to be wearing cameras moving forward, and here we are this soon with an incident when those body cams were not rolling.
Right, and the acting chief said the 2 officers involved did violate policy. There will be disciplinary action at some point. Right now, they are both on administrative leave pending the investigation, and we are watching this video unfold as you are. Normally, as I said earlier, we would edit the most graphic portions of this video. I think we're getting a vantage point from so far away. It may not show the graphic nature of this deadly shooting, but we're seeing a lot of activity around that SUV, and we have seen some around the White House in the background. This is video from about 12:15 this morning at the Dino's Food Mart at 26th and Broadway, where police have been saying they responded to a large gathering. Of course, the city was under a curfew at the time.
They were trying to break it up because that was their goal, to clear the crowd there so there would not be any violence, and then it ended with this.
This is a different angle.
Quiet. They said there was no confrontation, really. It was only loud. And then those gunshots rang out. What we're also not hearing,
Live View 7 is up
from police right now,
on
is
any
do
one
they have any
put Live View
suspects? The
7
governor
somewhere.
mentioned they were firing at 2 today. When they returned fire, the guardsmen and the police. The guardsmen did not even have their weapons loaded, so imagine how quickly they did that. Loaded their weapons and then returned fire. But who are those people? Do they have any names, any idea of who it may have been?
Well, you might
that
see more on
started
this one with this
gunfire,
angle, though.
at least according to police right now. And everyone involved is saying that's how it went down. I'm sure they're interviewing all kinds of people who were there last night as well.
And you can see, here's a look from a different vantage point. It appears to be from a different camera. Still showing that scene at 26th and Broadway about 12:15 this morning, when officers and National Guard were responding to a large gathering of people. And you can see lots of cars in the parking lot there at that Dino's Food Mart. There is no audio with this video, so we're not hearing what's going on, but police just released this video. If you're just joining us, it's Real Crime Center video showing what unfolded last night, because we just learned the 2 LMPD officers who were involved in this shooting did not have body cameras activated, which is a violation of department policy. 2 National Guard soldiers also returned fire.
And also, we're looking now at 2 cases where officers fired and the person killed was an innocent bystander to the gunfire exchange. Breonna Taylor, during that no-knock situation when Kenneth Walker fired a shot, didn't know who was breaking in, he said, to the apartment, even though police say they had announced, and then they fired back and killed her. And here, last night, at about midnight, shots fired a little after midnight toward the guard and police, according to police, and then they returned fire. And as far as we can tell right now, David McAtee, the barbecue man, a good friend of officers and the entire community, because he would feed those who needed it, and a man who was loved Now, he has passed away from that gunfire last night.
And we will take you back to the scene. We have 3 crews there. Gilbert Corsi, Katrina Helmer, and Stefan Johnson have been there talking to people who are there grieving. You heard many people driving by this scene today to express their grief and shock at what's happened. It is hard to make out what's going on. We've seen a lot of people scurrying around the parking lot. This may be the moment shots were fired. Police released this real crime center video just in the last few minutes. And if you're just joining us, we are watching it right along with you. It looks like that might be the end. So we may be taking this news conference again live because we expect them to release radio transmissions from the call that led to the fatal shooting of David McAtee. We are in the middle of a news conference with Mayor Fisher and the acting chief, Robert Schroeder, just after he announced that he had fired Chief Steve Conrad, who was set to retire at the end of this month. They had already put so many changes in place after the death of Breonna Taylor. The police chief was retiring at the end of the month. They had made changes to their body camera procedures because the officers who were at her apartment in that undercover raid that led to her shooting death
Are you changing it to
did
language?
not have cameras rolling. That policy has changed now. And then this.
And we're wondering too, of course, what's tonight going to be like? There was hope, I'm sure, from all involved. The peaceful protesters, the police, the community, that tonight would be fairly quiet. After this happened, shortly after midnight, it's hard to know. The governor was hoping a full video body cam release might calm everybody on both sides.
Stand by 2 full.
Indeed went down as police say it did. But now we don't have that particular
Dissolve
video.
2.
This is pretty hard to make out. Radio transmissions, we'll have to see just what that sheds as far as how this occurred last night.
ME3A.
It sounds like they are releasing the radio transmission
Put
because
camera
we
2 on the
cannot
bottom.
monitor the language. We are not going to bring that
Stand
to
by.
you live in case there's inappropriate language. We are not able to air at this point, but we're expecting to hear Mayor Fisher take the podium again. We're also expecting to hear from Governor Andy Beshear within the next hour or so.
And we're streaming it live on WDRB.com as far as that radio transmission is concerned. Let's go back now to Gil Corsi, who was down there where this all happened at 26th and West Broadway. Gil?
Take. Stand by ME2B.
Guys, you know that announcement from the mayor and LMPD that the officers were not wearing or did not have their body cameras activated. That is going to register in the heartbeat of this community. That Chief Conrad who's already slated to retire amid controversy, has now been relieved of his duties, has been fired. That's going to register out here. Even before we came on the air, the Kroger gas station across the street had been closed to customers. We saw the Hall of Justice, the courts downtown, closed early today. All under concern whether there would be more protests that became violent and grew into riots. That was all before we got the information that again we have a situation where a person is dead in Louisville at the hands of police, and we do not have the body camera footage to see what happened. I think it's important to note the words that the mayor said. When he came down here and grieved and hugged Mr. McAtee's mom, at the top of that
Master, we'll be going to break 3 next. Break 3. Break 3 is our next break.
And Louisville lost a wonderful citizen, a citizen known as the Barbecue Man. We're going to take a break right now.
Stand by to fade to black. Stand by your break. She's not ready. Master's not ready. Stand by live view 4. Go to live view 4. Under. They gotta have time to get the brakes lined up.
Give us a break. Give us a break. Any break.
She's trying to get it queued up.
You're still hot. You're still hot.
All right, we're ready. Stand by to fade to black. Stand by your brake and fade to black. Roll your brake.
Humidity, mold,
10 away.
Call TFS. Basement problems don't get better with time. They get better
5,
with TFS.
4.
Call the foundation specialists today.
Stand by. Stand by.
And up on Gil.
Cue him. Cue.
What?
Welcome back to WDRB News at 4. We are coming to you from 26th and Broadway outside Dino's Food Mart, where there has been a crowd gathering.
Stand by live view 4. Stand by number 1 under.
All day
number
long
1.
Because this was the scene of what the mayor just called a horrible tragedy.
Stand by ME2B.
Death of a man known as the Barbecue Man, David McAtee. As the mayor said, Louisville lost a wonderful citizen. This is a man who would set up
put B on the bottom.
outside of this food mart every day and feed the public.
Roll B,
regardless
dissolve.
if they were able to pay, even fed officers from LMPD. And this man died at the hands of police in a hail of bullets last night. This is another death of an African-American person in our community. Now, minutes ago, just before the break, we learned important information that is going to register with the heartbeat of the people out here. That LMPD officers who responded to this scene alongside the Kentucky National Guard were not wearing or did not have their body camera activated as they were supposed to. Earlier, it is police policy to release, when there's a fatal encounter with an officer, to release the body camera footage. I want to bring in WDRB.
Stand by live view 5. Dissolve live view 5. Pause B or re-queue. Stand by ME2B.
We now know that it did not exist and that those officers will be
is talking to is in A.
Is in A.
It's Broadway shooting follows SOT. Or sorry, no, I'm sorry.
It's Bashir SOT, right?
SJ Tamika. SJ Tamika.
Okay, queue up SJ Tamika on A. It's at 4:30.
He's upset and has a lot of questions. We also heard.
Hopefully I get it queued up.
Breonna Taylor. You've heard that name, but probably haven't heard Tamika Palmer as much. That's her
I've got it queued up on A2. Stand by.
And she shared her concerns.
Hold on.
She's seen over the last 2 days.
And stand by A sound, roll A, take.
This is so much bigger than her.
Yes.
We can't get justice with violence. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't help.
This is 23 seconds, guys.
It doesn't help her.
23 seconds.
It doesn't help.
Stand by to live tween under.
Where do we want to go out?
Stand by to live tween to live view 4. Or ME2B,
Let's
ME2B.
Kristen out of this.
Is that it?
Yes.
I just demand justice.
Sorry.
And live tween.
Ready out there?
And Governor Bashir says that is the same attitude he has. He demands justice for Breonna Taylor. Meanwhile, again,
okay, just stand by for me, guys. Out of Stephon, Gilbert is going to toss to you.
Greg,
guys.
I'm probably just going to have to queue things up through in here. I'm not sure if you're having problems in there or not, but
Kristen, let me know you can hear me.
Broadway shooting, it should be right underneath.
And just kind of riding up and down the street. And
Jed, Kristen will be live. She needs to be in her shot.
Yes.
Young people out with garbage bags picking up as they're walking up and down the street.
It's so loud out there.
You guys working for the city?
Hey, you are next. I need you to get
somebody.
Give me a double.
Kristen.
So again, a lot of people down here are trying to be peaceful.
Live view 1, or live view 5 on the left, live view 1 on the
I want to
right.
expand on that because as I was coming up to before the news at 4,
Stand by live view 5.
several people that said just report what
Jed,
you see.
can you hear me? Give me a thumbs
We're
up.
not
Jed.
burning down our community and bashing out windows.
Okay,
This
just
has
making
been
sure.
A peaceful
Yeah,
assembly.
you guys
It's all
are
right
next.
to be
You guys are
outraged. It's
next.
all right to be angry. It's
Live view 1, we'll be going to live view 1
Let's
after
do a
this.
single shot on
in a
Kristen
peaceful
to
manner.
start.
That is
Single
greatly
shot
what
on
we've
Kristen to
seen
start.
out here today, Stephon Johnson.
The lady behind us
Live view 1 will be next, Kyle.
Dissolve live view 5.
We want justice. And again, that's what everyone has said that they want. The
Hey,
police,
single shot of Kristen here. Single shot of Kristen to start.
Stand by
Toss
ME2B.
Kristen out of this in downtown Louisville.
Dissolve.
Tossing at Kristen in downtown Louisville out of this. Guys, just keep standing by.
I think it's also important to note that while we learned that the body camera
Hey, guys,
footage
can we
did
do
not
a
exist,
single
that
shot
police
of
will be
Kristen,
releasing
Jeff? Single
radio
shot of
transmission
Kristen to
immediately,
start.
and that is not normally
Then
the
we can
case
bring in Jessica.
for fatal encounters with police, and that there are
So loud,
what
they
they
cannot
call
hear
the
me.
real-time
Sorry,
crime network of cameras. Metro Louisville has cameras on light posts throughout the city, and there is image.
Sorry, I don't
there
even have them up.
is footage from those cameras of what happened, and that footage can be zoomed
Just
in.
keep
It can
standing
be
by, guys.
enhanced.
Stand by.
And there was also, frankly, Facebook Lives. People were out here rolling when the National Guard and when police rolled up. There is footage out there of what happened. And I think that the authorities know enough to get the remark from the mayor that the city had a horrible tragedy and that a wonderful
Costa
citizen
Kristen in
was
downtown
lost.
Louisville.
On my way down here, a friend from Norton Commons called me.
Costa
We called
Kristen
the
in
mayor of
downtown
Norton
Louisville
Commons.
with
He
another
said, "That
protest
guy,
growing."
Guy, he served the police department. He's fed
Your mask
now.
over your
I don't know
nose,
the guy.
Corsi.
I've heard of
Thank
him,
you.
but
Yes,
I've heard
I
of
actually
great
wasn't
things
here.
about him in the last 2-3 hours.
All right, Stephon.
Dissolve.
Johnson,
Stand by
put me back to
ME2A.
the next half hour right now. I want to check
Stand
in
by.
with Kristen Shanahan
Take.
in downtown Louisville.
Stand by live view 1.
Kristen.
Take.
Q.
We're here on 6th and Jefferson Square for a protest.
Sorry, we not fix that locator.
This whole thing with 2 mics and 2 reporters, that's why it sounds like that.
Out here in Jefferson,
Well, no, you're picking up all the audio from the person who's not talking as well.
No peace. Prosecute the police. They're chanting Breonna Taylor's name. We are expecting more people to come down here to 6th and Jefferson shortly, around 6 o'clock for a vigil for the man who was shot and killed by police and the National Guard early this morning. And now Kristen is joining us as well.
And now joining us live is
Can't hear it.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that
I don't know this lady's name.
I think police officers have been doing what they want to do for too long. And I think, okay, he got cut 29 days short.
Gil wants Kristen in his ear.
Gil wants Kristen in his ear if he can. Put the mic closer to her.
And not able to be arrested and prosecuted and convicted of the murder of Breonna Taylor. We are staying with that. We're going to stay focused. We're going to be here every day from 12 to 7. Sending that message right on the front porch of our neighbor. This is a city government problem that started with those.
Gil wants to hear Kristen.
Gil wants to hear Kristen. We're working on it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We cannot be distracted. And now we have another innocent man who failed the police.
Kristen is IFB2. Gil wants to hear Kristen. We are working on
To
it.
wrap it up, and then we're going to pause to break. Back to you to wrap and pause to
And
break.
they definitely should have been wearing those cameras, but that shows the lack of leadership that goes
She's
through that
talking to
department.
one of the organizers of the rally
Because they
today
are
in
racist,
downtown
and the only
Louisville.
time they come out is when they're against black women.
Wrap out of this
And they
and toss
continue
back to
to do
Gil.
that.
Somebody
Toss
need to,
back to
Is that
Gil
you
out of
have
this.
people who are doing what they want to do in that police force, no matter who the
Just be
chief
standing
is.
by, guys.
I'm not satisfied that Chief Conrad is gone. That's not enough.
Well, thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts with us. And now we're going to send it to Gil.
Take
Q,
and
Q,
take.
Q.
Kristen, thank you. Heartbreak, frustration, anger, that's what
Semi
we've
ME2B.
seen in our community over the last several days.
Yeah, let's just
4
stop
days
the break.
of
I don't even know
protests,
what's
some of them
teased
turned
at this point.
violent, some of them turned into riots. That was heartbreak over the Breonna Taylor case and George
You guys are
Floyd
clear.
and
Nice job out there.
And now there's another one to add to the list in Louisville, the name of David McAtee. Coming to you from 26.
Stand by to
and
fade to
Broadway.
black. Stand by your breakmaster.
McAtee was shot by police here at Dino's Food Mart just a little bit after midnight. We're going to take a break and be back with more on this developing story. The
Hey.
WDRB News at 4 continues.
Fade to black. Roll your brake. 5, 4. Stand by the anchors. Stand by anchors. Up on 2.
We will
Stand by
continue to follow the
A.
developments
Sound.
across the city
Clean.
as protests are underway and
No.
are set to begin in the
Shit.
next few minutes. But we also want to talk about the
Hold on.
reopening
I got
of
it.
businesses because we are in the middle of a pandemic right now, and more Kentucky businesses were allowed to reopen today under COVID-19 restrictions.
WDRB
Stand by A
Jessica
sound.
Bard has more on COVID-19 not being the only thing that's causing changes as they reopen their doors.
Relay take.
Okay. Weather and traffic are out of this path. Weather and traffic are next.
Faces in here already.
Mark,
Oh, no,
this
you
is
were there.
main weather
Like
hit.
business as usual at bowling alleys like
Yeah, let's
Kingpin
do-
Lanes.
People that are just so
normal is
anxious
fine.
to
You're
get
good.
back into doing things like this.
All right, set up corner 3D.
Lanes are open. The
Okay.
bowlers are throwing and sanitation is at top of mind.
We're at a third capacity. Every other lane is about the maximum what we can use. We've also
First super's at 27, add super.
Jeff can give me a shot.
and
This
we've
scene looks
done
more
some
active.
additional things as well as building some
Lose super.
glass walls to separate lanes.
Usually these racks
Hey,
be
Jeff,
filled
can
with
you give
bowling
me a live
balls.
shot
For
of another
another
cuts coming up in about 5
so
minutes?
please know which ones need to be cleaned. Sparing
You were a block above. You should have been down one more.
COVID-19 isn't
But
the
they
only
both say
concern.
Kentucky
Starting
reopening.
expects to follow any curfews put in place by local government as a result of recent protests.
So keep scrolling down, prompter.
We need to push and we need to do our part as a pillar in the community to comply with that.
Stand by super.
Louisville athletic clubs agree. They opened their doors later Monday morning.
We
Add
did
super.
respect the mayor's curfew for Louisville Metro, even though we're in Dayton.
Lose
We
super.
didn't open until 7.
2.
Dixie Highway
We're
Louisville Athletic Club
you're at the right
closed
one
for
now.
good.
We just ultimately couldn't weather the storm at that location.
A mask might not be part of your
20
workout,
seconds.
but
Stand by
members have to
super.
wear one as they walk about. Main event has not determined an opening date yet. Local movie theaters are allowed to reopen Monday with social distancing. Many YMCA's
Stand by.
open their doors with every other machine available to keep social distancing. Jessica Ball.
Stand by Hughes weather.
WDRB News.
Roll Hughes.
WDRB weather is sponsored by Hughes and Coleman.
And Mike Hughes.
I've got two big weather
Stand by
stories here
ME1A
in the
while
next
it's
7
next.
days. Heat and the potential for some stronger storms.
Which
Now,
live
you'll
are we
notice
going to for the
Storm
teams?
Prediction
Live
Center, and
one,
this is for
Kyle?
Wednesday
Live
night
one?
into Thursday. They're noting just the northern part of our area under a severe weather threat, with gusty winds, small hail, and lightning. So is the location correct? That is one of the things we're going to discuss as we move through this weather. So take a look at this morning. We started off with a really cool sunrise this morning. This one coming in
While
from
it's hot,
Jennifer
while it's
Powell
hot.
out of Carrollton. Now what you notice there is some of the
We'll
fog
tag weather at the Weather Center, traffic at the wall.
and just some of that deep contrast there as the sun was jumping above the horizon this morning.
I guess LMPD
A lot of
officer
sunshine
hug.
out there today. As we look around our area,
It'll be on
there
A.
are showers to the north, and this is part of
Towards
our
the bottom of
forecast.
the
Could
tapes
get any get
of the
in here.
rundown.
As I discussed that, we need to look at our current conditions. So we made it to a high of 80 after a low of 51. It's a big swing of almost 30 degrees today. Now back to that question, could any of those showers get here? 78 doesn't help us. Dew point at 39 does tell us something because our humidity right now is 25%. So the atmosphere is only holding 25% of the moisture cold before it allows the rain to get through. I think it's too dry tonight. What you will also notice as we look around the region is there is a big signal for warming conditions. Good morning, 85 and 87 in Wichita. The other part to that is the dew points are starting to jump. So what is very comfortable out there today.
Steve, just leave prompter flip for this tease. We're just going to ad lib over a live shot.
Build in. It'll be a powerhouse. This low is going to try to bring us some storms midweek. And this is an important one to note. I'm still listing this as high likelihood of tropical development. That said, National Hurricane Center has noted at 5 o'clock they will turn this into tropical depression number 3. If it gains a name, it will become Cristobal. As we look across the area during the overnight hours, temperatures are not as cool tonight. I think this is a legitimate transition to a summer pattern. Tomorrow, we surge to near 90 degrees. We're warm on Wednesday morning, and we're right back at near 90 on Wednesday. Here comes those storms, and what you will notice is they're not heat in the afternoon in our area. And in that, the storms are pulsing down. So yes, Storms Prediction Center is right in placing that severe weather threat north of our area. And you can see we reflare storms on Thursday, reflare them again late on Friday, and then we finally say goodbye to that fun on Saturday, setting the tone for a nice and dry weekend. Rainfall amounts in the next 7 days are probably going to be near an inch, but there is some upside. Remember, we do have thunderstorms, and you can get heavy downpours.
Dissolve graphics.
So tonight I've got your low temperature.
We'll tag weather at the Weather Center, traffic at the wall.
Much warmer night than the last couple. For tomorrow afternoon, high temperature touches 90. Southwest wind at 10 to 15 and into the extended. I think we're going to go to 90 again on Wednesday. I've got storms in there on Thursday. By Friday, we still have scattered storms. And Mike, it is going to be a hot weekend.
ME1A, stand by traffic.
Next Monday, the hottest we've seen so far in 2020.
Traffic.
Welcome to summer, folks. Let's take a look at what we have with our cameras.
Stand by live view 1.
Looking at 65.
We will live tween to live view 1 with E1.
Hey, Jess, hold what you got on that live shot. We're going to you next for a live picture.
Here's that drive on 64 at Knollwood and
Okay, we're getting ready to go to break.
Hey, can you move so we don't see the F word on that sign? F word on the sign.
65 moving pretty well, both directions, right over top of the Watershed Expressway. And that means if you're heading out to Watershed out from the airport, you shouldn't encounter any problems. We are starting to see the westbound side of the Watershed a little heavy between Pomp and Level Road, and then back over to the 65 ramp, and then getting over into New Albany. No problems there. 64 westbound at the Sherman Mid, and we've been pretty steady around 265.
Stand by to live tween. Stand by live view 1. Scott will read over. Live tween. Mike
In
Akers.
addition to that gathering at 26th and Broadway, a protest beginning now downtown at Jefferson and 6th Street. Another one planned at Zorn and River Road shortly. We'll be back with much more coverage here of everything that's happening in Louisville right now on WDRB News.
Live view 1 audio up. And fade to black. Roll your brake. Mic him, cue him, dissolve up.
welcome back to WDRB News at 4. I'm coming to you from 26th and Broadway outside Dino's Food
We're
Mart,
ready.
the site of what the mayor has called a horrible tragedy. You are seeing pictures
Roll
of
aids off.
heartbreak and grief,
Add
tears
E2.
of anger and sorrow that have filled this intersection, along with protests and demonstrations, all on the death of another African-American man in this community at the hands of police. We now know that man's name is David McAtee, but better known in the community as the barbecue man, who set up shop right here at this gas station and would feed the community, regardless of whether they had the money. He would feed the police. That is what he was known as in this community. As
Which
the mayor
video?
called him a wonderful citizen and a tragic loss.
Oh, I thought he did.
He was killed in the crossfire bullets. An innocent bystander as police came to the scene saying that they were clearing a large crowd that had gathered here after midnight.
Can you bring those? Hey, Brandy.
This adds to the scar and the protest that has already been going on.
Can you bring those little selection of videos down each time?
WDRB's Kate Springer now, because there is a moment that has gone viral from Louisville when a black woman in this community hugged a police officer.
Stand by B sound.
You had an opportunity to catch up with that woman.
Yeah, that video was from last night's protest. You see Tanya Trumbo, she's a teacher here, and she's hugging an officer in the middle of this protest at Jefferson and 6th Street. And when I reached out to her this morning, you know, it was about that moment of hope that we all had. But when I went to interview her, she said that things had changed after that shooting here.
We'll have sound on B. Stand by B. Roll B. Take.
In a moment of hurt, a hug.
Live View 5 is next.
Guys, we were in the pack.
I think I heard some
on tape.
and sharing Louisville teacher
First and only supers at 22 seconds.
LMPD officer in the middle of Sunday's protest.
He asked me if I was okay.
Oh, Brandy.
And
Stand by super.
the emotions really just took over me.
Add super.
And he just, allowed me to just stand
I would
there
say
and
we
have
have
that
Gil
moment.
Wrap and
Blue
talk to
super.
Greg, and we can
And I appreciated
go from
that.
there.
We'll be out to Live View 5
We're gonna
next.
have time for the last block
Is
and
that
quick
straightforward?
wrap and restart at
My
five.
emotions have changed because of the shooting
Okay.
that has taken place in the West
All right, guys,
End.
out of
Sunday,
this package,
Trumbo
we're gonna
went
do
to
Kate's
march
quick
as a
tag.
teacher looking
Gil,
to
I need
walk
you to
along
wrap
her
and get
students.
to break.
They
Get to
needed
break.
some guidance along the
We
way.
do not have a
and
lot of time
my
left
other
here in the
concern
show.
was just protecting them.
That now viral moment is the lesson she never expected to give.
The kids needed to see that because they were overwhelmed with emotions
Okay.
as well. And I think that signified for them also. There
1
is
minute.
One
We're done with
that's gonna
Katrina.
be by my
Stefan will
side
stick around.
when I need him.
Their embrace lasted nearly a minute.
I remember talking to him about.
Okay, Katrina's
just have to
also
keep
staying.
these kids
Katrina's staying. Gil's trying
But
to
I,
get into
I
jail
think
for
I
this.
remember
don't
telling
think
him that I need to keep.
A heartwarming moment that quickly faded. Just hours later, another black
30
man
seconds.
shot and killed by law
30 left in the
enforcement.
pack, guys.
Once
30.
again, her
Then a
students
quick
were at
tag
the
and toss
forefront
to
of
break.
her
We
mind.
may dissolve out
The
of this
first thing
one.
that came
Quick
to my
tag with
mind
Kate,
was,
Gil, wrap,
what
toss
are
to
those
break.
kids thinking now?
Trumbo says she's conflicted now, but she's trying to remain hopeful in a time that seems
20.
hopeless. Focused
Stand by
on
Live View
lessons
5.
To be taught.
But I still honestly
15
just want to be
15.
hopeful about our
15.
healing. We have a lot of work to do.
10.
And I don't want this moment.
Stand by the live tweet or
this
yeah, stand by to
momentum
dissolve.
that we are having right now
Stand by.
making progress to fall by the
Mike Live View
wayside.
5 and
Fewer, Q, Kate,
dissolve.
Q, Kate.
And ever the teacher, she says she will be
And we're going to
back
break
there
here.
watching again.
Yeah,
Stand by
Gil's gonna
ME2B.
wrap,
Put
toss
Live
to
View
break.
5 on the left.
We'll be right back.
Stand by to fade to black. Fade to black. Roll your break.
Good. All right, we're clear.
Switch out to 5 p.m. rundowns.